It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
Hello and welcome. He's Gary McNamara. I'm Eric Harley, the beekeeper. As we move into a Tuesday, I just found there's a movie, a Jason Statham movie called The Beekeeper. It's an action movie. So I guess now I have to watch it after being stung by bees last weekend or last Friday.
Yeah, I got too much else going on here to be talking about that here.
No?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interfere with your show. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's got nothing to do with the show. I just got stuff going on here. I got to get some new internet. AOL discontinued their dial-up.
Yeah.
Service.
Well, just put the disc in again.
I don't know if it's work. I mean,
Nah, it works, right, Alan? Yeah, it works. Yeah, see, Alan says it works. Just use the disc we gave you. Come on, you got 10 free minutes. It's like sign up for the AOL thing, and then you get 10 free minutes.
I forgot about the disc. I forgot about the disc for AOL.
You'll love it, man. That's 10 minutes for free. You don't pay anything.
You know, it's amazing.
The disc is free.
You know, it's amazing. I mean, from not having internet to having the dial-up that took forever.
Yeah.
To then, for me, I was in an area the other day, with my phone.
Right.
And it was the 4G light that came up. And it was taking 5 or 6 seconds to get to the next page. I'm screaming, going, come on!
No, that happened to me. Where was I? I was somewhere recently, and it was like 4G, and I was inside this building, and I was like, dang it. You know, and these a lot of these, especially certain corporations, they have a policy where if you've got your Wi-Fi turned on, then you walk into their Wi-Fi zone, and it says you get the notification, free Wi-Fi available, or open Wi-Fi, whatever it is. Well, a lot of it will then throttle down your phone until you either turn off that Wi-Fi or you log into their Wi-Fi. They want you to log into their Wi-Fi. It helps them with their marketing. They can see, all right, this person showed up, they stayed for this long, whatever. And I forget where I was, but I was being bogged down. I was being throttled. And I thought, oh, okay, so I turned off my Wi-Fi, and then it goes to 4G. It's like, 4G? What are we, in the 1800s?
I know, it's just amazing how spoiled we've gotten. And it's just, if there's you want, when you hit it, when you click, you want it instantaneously, even waiting a second.
Right.
You think about it. If you have to wait 1 second, you're like, come on, what the hell's wrong with the world? Damn Trump.
I mean, you used to have to go to a library to prove that I never played guitar for Aerosmith. Think about that. You have to go somewhere and look at, do you have a book? Do you have a biography book on Aerosmith that is current?
Is this the line to read a newspaper that's attached to that piece of wood and everything else over there?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, what was that? The weird stick? It was folded over the stick?
They didn't want people to steal the newspaper.
Yes. Here's the bathroom key. I think that's a spare tire to a big rig.
You're getting hit with a misdemeanor. So what did you do? I stole a newspaper from the library.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
What do you think this is? Washington, D.C.?
And by the way,
you can't do that in our city.
And oddly enough, it's... what if they're overdue? Well, it's no longer relevant. It's 2 days old. Yeah, you still owe the $2.
The newspapers. You're late on the newspaper.
It's overdue.
Where's Mr. Bookman?
Yeah, exactly. The whole newspaper is overdue. I'll tell you what's overdue. Yeah, I don't. There was a comedian talking about dial-up, talking about pre-internet. It was, you just basically had to go by what people told you. We weren't going to a library. It's, you can make up anything weird. My great-grandfather invented shoelaces. Just run with it. Yeah. So it's yeah. So what do you got? What do you got? What's going on with your computer? You had you started there.
Oh, nothing. I just saw that. I just saw that AOL is disconnecting their internet dial-up service after 40 years.
Just now?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole point.
Okay.
The whole point was that story that came out yesterday that AOL is disconnecting.
Well, I'd seen that at the
service.
beginning. I'd seen that at the beginning of the year, but I thought they'd already done it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess it was that they had planned to phase it out by the end of the year, the story from earlier this year. I guess.
Let me see.
Well, I got to know how many customers they still had on board for dial-up.
In a recent support update page, AOL informed customers its dial-up service, along with its associated software, AOL Dialer and AOL Shield, will be discontinued on September 30th.
Oh, wow.
The company stated it routinely evaluates the products and services, but did not disclose the specific reasons behind the decision to end dial-up access.
Wow.
Because there's 5 people on it?
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm looking in the article to see... Although many readers will be surprised to learn that dial-up internet was still available in an era of broadband and 5G, and the company reportedly had thousands of dial-up customers remaining.
Well, my question is, how many of them had the account and just didn't use it, just didn't close it out, right? Never canceled it, like a landline. You know, you threw the phone away years ago. You just never canceled the landline service. Got to be a few of those people out
here's
there.
what they say. Even as dial-up became increasingly obsolete, it remained a viable option for low-income families and those living in rural areas without access to broadband in 2021, when Apollo Global Management acquired assets from Verizon. AOL was reported to have 1.5 million paying customers, although the majority were using the service for technical support and software rather than internet access. The number of actual dial-up users had dwindled to the low thousands. So,
yeah, okay.
So you're talking the low thousands would be under 10,000 nationwide.
Yeah,
and at that point, it's not worth keeping.
You know, it's
the infrastructure going for that.
It's interesting. I have an elderly neighbor who came to the door yesterday, and she was a little distraught. Something happened with her phone. She was on the phone. She was on hold with her doctor, and she's got an iPhone, and it just made a static noise. It went into a static noise. Still have no idea. I don't have an iPhone, but and so then I said, well, the best thing we can do is restart it. So we restarted it. Then you've got to put your code in, your passcode, and she couldn't remember her passcode. Now she's going to be 91 her next birthday. After her husband, Tom, passed, her son, Greg, lives there with her, but he's at work during the day. And so my daughter and I were helping her, basically helped her find her passcode and everything. She had it written down back at her house next door. And I always feel when I get into things, where like I'm getting a new service or something at the house, I always think in terms of my parents, or in this case, my neighbor, Vicky, who they're not fluent in the technology. And I wonder about myself because I look at AI technology, right, and think, okay, when, God willing, I'm 90 and I'm sitting there. And
you're not 90 yet.
No. But in the future, I'm 90. I feel 90. It's, I'm just waiting, I'm sitting there waiting for somebody to come by the house so they can help me with my AI because I can't turn my shower on or whatever it is, And because, here she was just trying to call her doctor and make an appointment. And really she's gotten to the point where she leaves the house for 2 reasons: doctor appointments and church. And so, it's, I think of again, my parents or my neighbor, where it's just that they're limited in terms of what they can do. Now, my dad, who's 92, turned 92 this spring, and he's got Alexa set up in his house. He's got cameras all over his house, security cameras. He can ask Alexa anything. I don't even have Alexa. I don't like the idea of. I didn't like the idea back when it came out of devices listening to me. Although these days, all devices are listening. And I just think about how limited I might, be one day myself, in terms of not being able to keep up. I'm pretty interested in it to begin with. And so I've always been tech savvy, but you get into the stuff of, the AI stuff, and they start talking a different language, I mean, right now you can, someone used AI to draw a bumblebee with a skirt, one of our great listeners the other day. And, I mean, that's kind of the popular thing to do with AI. But, there's other stuff that in the future will be practical and will apply to, certain functions, maybe, again, in your home, depending on your home. But that's what I always wonder about is technology. Are we at this point? We had hit a plateau, I think, for a while. Now we're not at a plateau. It's just accelerating at light speed with the AI stuff. And it's fascinating. And I'm just hopeful that I can keep up with it all.
Well, I'm not having any problems. I'm rebooting my computer right now because our Windows 7.
Yeah, we have Windows 7 in our studio.
We actually have Windows 7. We're not making this up.
Yeah,
That's how ancient our computers are.
Yeah.
I
hear it dialing up, so that'll be good. It should be up soon.
I can't get what Windows 7 came up right after AOL.
Exactly.
Dial up.
Yeah.
Just as you're saying that, I'm like, can't get into my computer again.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, everywhere I go, any store I go into, it's amazing how many times people go, our computer system's not working. I'm so frustrated. And I just say, I understand completely what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, and then, we're like you said, we're spoiled. But then again, in today's world, it should be more fluid. It should be more seamless, I guess, in the process. But it's, again.
Do you remember, though? I remember one of my first smartphones I got, and I can't remember when it was, trying to get that started and then transfer everything. This is before it became so simple as it is now.
Yeah.
Now you get a smartphone, it just works. I remember in my house getting my smartphone on a Saturday morning, and Saturday afternoon by 6 or 7 o'clock, I am screaming in the house. That's how frustrated I was trying to get this thing to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those days are gone even.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right, though. You talk about your 91-year-old neighbor, and I think about my 99-year-old father. There was nothing, absolutely nothing, when he was roaming around as a kid in the 1930s.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you also think about, all right, it makes you more efficient. The devices make you more efficient. It makes business more efficient, and really helps economies boom. But on the downside, now you've got, new information, more and more information about, all right, the mental health of adolescents. There have been the debate for parents has been, all right, how young do you let your kids have a phone and this and that? And then when your kids are more and more, involved in whatever extracurricular activity, schools and everything else, it's like, well, we want them to, be able to be in touch in today's world and everything else. But one thing that we have done, I won't say, I can't speak for my kids and how they parent their kids, but for us, we limited all of that until they were driving. If they were driving and working, when they got a job in high school and they were driving, that's kind of where the standard was. So they wouldn't be on the side of the road without being able to make a phone call. But, it's crazy where the technology is today, and it's crazy that AOL didn't shut down dial-up it feels like a century ago, but 10 years ago.
Crazy. Wait till we talk about yesterday.
Oh, man.
Wow. Got a great show ahead. 866-90 Red Eye.
Hey there, Hope Savara here with Mother Trucker Yoga, and this is your health tip of the day. Healthy driver, healthy diesel, powered by House. Neck strain can really be a pain, especially after long hours behind the wheel. Did you know neck pain affects nearly 70% of drivers at some point in their career? So let's loosen things up. Sit tall and tip your head to your right shoulder. Now pull your left shoulder down gently and hold for 10 seconds. Switch sides, left ear to left shoulder, right shoulder pulls down and hold for 10. Now roll your shoulders 5 big circles forward and 5 back. Open your mouth wide and stretch your jaw. Hold for 10. Close and repeat that 2 more times. Finally, take a deep breath in through your nose, pause, and exhale through your mouth. There you go. Small, simple changes lead to big results so that you can feel good again. Visit mothertruckeryoga.com and houseproducts.com for more info.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. I think the funniest thing for me yesterday was seeing, and this went viral online, the Washington Post, and the whole thing of Trump and D.C. and federalizing the police department and National Guard and everything else, is the Washington Post talking to people in the city, Democrats, for example. This is a safe city. But overhearing and witnessing gang threats and then watching camera footage of the thuggery is disturbing, said one resident, speaking on condition of anonymity over concerns of personal safety. The crowd of teens, he said, were roaming the street and appeared to be checking for unlocked cars and things to steal. But it's a safe city.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Everything's fine.
That was the best thing. I'm telling you, we'll get into it following the bottom of the hour, but Democrats just don't get it.
No.
They are so reactive. They just don't get it. And yesterday was an absolute perfect example. I was roaring in hysteria.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was one of those days where, and I'm thinking to myself, did they jump on this so quick? Did they jump on this so incredibly quick and just say, no, it's safe. It's a city that's safe. It's a city that's safe, and you shouldn't be doing anything. You shouldn't be doing anything. Is it because they're losing the redistricting argument? I really thought about that. It was so quick. And on especially on social media, it was so overwhelming. Yet they really couldn't come up with a defense against what the administration was saying and other people were saying.
Yeah.
And the problem is you have so much of the media that is actually in D.C. and been there for a while that, no, needs to be done here at this moment. But the one thing I came up with is this, because there are people out there going, why are the Democrats responding so viciously to all of this? You know, what's going on? All I could think of was, we know that a plurality of Democrat voters want criminal illegal immigrants on the streets of their cities. Well, if you want criminal illegal immigrants on the streets of your city, then you want citizens to also have the same right to criminal activity in your cities.
Yeah.
Yep. Very easy. This isn't complicated.
Right. Yeah, it's you know, they are scrambling and they have to, again, lie about what's going on. Your eyes don't see what they actually see. That's basically what they're telling anybody who knows anything about what's going on in D.C. Oh, no, everything's fine.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks so much for being here this morning. So, what an incredible day it was yesterday. So much to talk about. But first, on the whole crime thing with D.C., and this was just a back and forth, all day with Trump and a ton of people around him, law enforcement people around him, and saying we're going to clean up the city. The Democrats' response was, it's the safest it's been in 30 years. The response back to that was, well, you're not keeping statistics correctly. And they talk about that police official that was found out was, playing with the actual statistics there. Look, this is something that's going to end up in... When you look at it from a national political issue, because locally, no matter what the buzz is going, what the voters of Washington want, it's not an issue. They're not going to vote Republican.
Right.
All right. So you look at it as a national issue. When it comes down to as a national issue, is Trump's going to win law and order every time. End of story.
Yeah. Right.
And if you would come out, and I'm having problems playing sound off my computer, and so that's it's really hampering me because there's some great stuff out there. An ABC anchor that came out and said, I have the quote here. Here in downtown D.C., where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died. I was actually jumped walking 2 blocks down from here this morning. One of my coworkers said her car was stolen. That was on ABC.
Wow.
And so we know when it comes to crime, we know how statistics have been manipulated in the past. One of the things that we have talked about for so long is the crime statistics and the fact of how many cities, remember a couple of years ago was a big issue? Well, they're not reporting.
Right.
They're not reporting the statistics out there.
Right.
And so you can throw whatever statistics you want out on the federal level, which means across the country, people will look at it and say, no, Washington, D.C. has always been one of the worst crime cities for decades.
Yeah.
That's what people think.
Yep.
And they'll look at it and they'll say, okay, maybe they improved the last couple of years, but I know Trump's the kind of guy that will go in there just like the border, and he will get it down to nothing. Now, in crime, you're never going to get it down to nothing, but when you look at the border, for example, whoever thought the border numbers would be what the border numbers would be?
Right.
Trump has built up a tremendous amount of goodwill when it comes to not breaking the law. When it comes to law and order, you can't beat Trump.
No, enforcement, he owns enforcement right now.
And to sit there, and I love it, well, this is a whole racial thing because excuse me, it would be a racial thing if they said, to hell with the cops, let the purge continue. That would be racist, saying, we look at the city of Washington, D.C., it's too dangerous, and we wish to fix it so the people of Washington, D.C., the law-abiding citizens, can walk the streets without fear, and you're trying to make the case that that's racism? Because the majority of law-abiding citizens in that city are black?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's the thing that blows my mind. I'm just like, where the hell are they coming from? They are so reactionary, Eric. I mean, and yesterday I'm dying laughing. I'm like, they just don't get it. It's like, and I really thought, okay, the whole redistricting thing blew up in their face. It just blew up in their face. Mm-hmm. And so they've got to find something. Oh, Trump, he's doing it. Look at Trump. He's taking over, federalizing. I just, It comes down to law and order. And the message to the American people, the average person, is, yeah, okay, yeah, crime's bad. Statistics, who knows? But, yeah, the people that know there, that live there, know it's a dangerous place.
Well, it's been going on for such a long time that there is no way to come out in 2025 and say everything's fine. Nothing's wrong here. You know, this is the mostly peaceful protest approach. Look, I'm here in D.C. I'm not being mugged right now. Hurry, turn the camera off. My sister lived there for 4 years. Now, for her, the biggest thing for her was the traffic. But they were very careful about where they went, especially after dark. And I think anybody who's been following, you don't have to live in D.C. to know the history of crime in D.C. We've got, I don't know how many friends and colleagues that live inside the Beltway, and it's a given. They've talked about it. And the left just wants you to believe, again, that your eyes don't see what they actually see.
And as we know, you can manipulate statistics however you want, because you heard that, throughout the day. And then you heard Republicans kick back and say, excuse me, we can't trust the numbers. But then again, they put out their own numbers, which were in 2024. Washington, D.C. saw a homicide rate of 27.3 per 100,000 residents. That was the fourth highest homicide rate in the country, nearly 6 times higher than New York City, also higher than Atlanta, Chicago, and Compton. If Washington, D.C. was a state, it would have the highest homicide rate of any state in the nation. In 2012, the homicide rate in Washington, D.C. was just under 13.9 per 100,000 residents, showing that the increase has been over double. If you look at it per capita, Washington, D.C.'s murder rate is roughly 3 times higher than that of Pakistan, 18 times higher than communist-run Havana, Cuba.
Wow.
I don't know if you want to use Cuba, though.
Yeah.
Because the Soviet Union was a safe place.
Enforcement is a bit different.
Yes. The number of juveniles arrested in Washington, D.C. has gone up each year since 2020. There were 29,349 crimes reported in D.C. last year, including 3,469 offenses, 1,026 assaults with a dangerous weapon, 2,100 robberies, 5,100 motor vehicle thefts. So far in 2025, already nearly 1,600 violent crimes and nearly 16,000 total crimes have been reported in Washington, D.C., and they keep going on and on and on and on and on. And they say more than half of all violent crime in the U.S. goes unreported in the first place.
Yeah.
Many residents don't feel safe reporting crime. Metro Police Department leadership are allegedly cooking the books to make crime statistics appear more favorable. You had the union. You saw the union leader came out, the head of the police department union.
Right.
And agree with the White House. So my point is you're going to throw the stats back and forth at each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they know, the people of Washington, they know whether they feel safe.
Right. You're not going to, this underreporting, whether we're talking about official reporting of crimes or the media, the liberal activist media in reporting and their underreporting habits, which we witnessed on many fronts in recent years. You don't get that past the people who live there. You're trying to paint the picture for people outside D.C., the people that live in D.C. and live in that area already know. They're living this every single day. They don't need the local police or anybody else locally to report these crimes to the FBI or any federal office or anybody else, because they're the ones making the 911 calls. I mean, imagine that. That's got to be the next Babylon Bee. 911, you can't possibly have an emergency. This is D.C. and everything's fine. So don't tell me there's a crime because you know there's not.
Now you're going to make me go and look.
It's gotta be, you know, because that's how ridiculous they're being on this.
Well, you're not going to win. If you look at Trump over the last few years, number one is law and order.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about and I include the border in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's including but law and order, it's impossible to beat Trump on the issue of law and order.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're going to nitpick and say the numbers on it and this is the end of democracy, no. Now, I know he put out that little juicy bit saying, who knows what's next? Chicago? Whatever. It's like, well,
right. Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same.
Right.
It's not the same. We won't go into the details on it, but the Constitution and law treats D.C. completely different than any other city or state.
Right.
So let's put it this way. The Wall Street Journal agrees with Trump on this one.
Well, and you know, if you want to talk about other cities, yes, they have lawmakers, but mostly in Chicago, it's cowards from Texas. So, so it's different.
Those are the lawbreakers in Chicago.
Exactly.
Here it is. D.C. Mayor warns Trump's crime-fighting measures will unfairly impact criminals.
But no, that's actually one of those that we have to look at the Babylon Bee and go, that's a serious headline.
Well, it's, you know, when I said it about half hour ago, you know, I was making an absurd point, but it's really true. When you look at the polling that shows that the Democratic voter, a plurality to a majority, believe that criminal illegal aliens should run free in their city. Even violent criminal illegal immigrants should run freely in their city. Well, they're just looking for the same right as American citizens to commit crimes and be left alone, too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I first said that, I go, I'm making an absurd point to make a point. And then I thought about it and went, it's not an absurd point. It's actually true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's, you know, with the Babylon Bee or just trying to do parody or jokes anymore, it's impossible to do because the Democrats' reality has become a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it is insane. But that's all they've got. You know, nothing's wrong here. We don't need fixing.
Well, you know, you and I have always talked about, you know, if you look at where the major crime areas are, of course, they're in the cities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have talked about that if you solve the problems, if you actually solve the problems out there, do you need big government? If government is doing their jobs,
yeah,
when it comes to law enforcement, when it comes to the quality of life of individuals, if government is doing their jobs, do they actually create an incentive for the fact that you don't need as much government anymore? And I'm not talking about the police, but all the things that go around in it. If you solve the problem of crime, if you solve the problem of poverty or make great inroads in there, then the Democratic Party loses one of their major levers, which is you're a victim, you're always going to be a victim, you're always going to be in this situation. 866-90-RED-EYE.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Just see Nancy Pelosi went after Trump, saying, the most violent thing was, January 6th and the National Guard. He wouldn't call the National Guard out then. She just got blasted by the former Capitol Police Chief.
Right.
We'll get that story coming up.
Right.
And after yesterday's story, there's another one today. We need more power.
Oh.
Electricity, that is. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that and more, all coming up. Great show ahead.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
As always. How's everybody doing? So, here we go. Former Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund on Monday blasted former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for criticizing President Donald Trump's activation of the Washington, D.C. National Guard over crime in the district, claiming he delayed deploying the Guard in the January 6th riot. Sund, who was chief, reminded Pelosi that he was denied Guard approval despite requesting it days before the riot. And was later forced to decline assistance from the National Guard because he was not authorized to accept it, which would have come from where?
That would have come from Capitol Hill, right?
The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Remember her getting into her car? Remember the audio that was recorded?
Yeah. I mean, just...
Wow.
What I liked the best was Hillary getting involved in it. and especially after the last couple of weeks, Hillary getting involved in it. It's like, wait a minute, you're one of the criminals from Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my. I'm telling you, it was absolutely insane yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think we've got our audio fixed. We'll check it here in the next segment. We had some audio computer problems, and that's what we've been doing during the top of the hour.
Well, we're the last dial-up. AOL shut us down.
That's what happened.
We're the last two dial-up customers in the country, and we're trying to figure out your newfangled ways of not having to dial up. I guess my rotary phone is just trash now, huh?
We're cavemen talk show hosts.
We don't understand your modern computers. Oh, man, I miss Phil Hartman.
Oh. We're underneath the table. We're trying to put wires together.
If you would have seen it, honestly, I'm glad they didn't film it. It was kind of sad. What does that do? That's my lunch. Oh, okay. You're not pressing a button. You're pressing a ham sandwich.
So here it is. Here's what he said. I have the quote of it. Right. The former Capitol Police Chief on January 6th. Ma'am. I can't get past the first word.
Ma'am. I think you said it perfectly, too, because that's the inflection it would have to be. Ma'am. Oh, my gosh.
Ma'am, it's long past time to be honest with the American people.
Yeah.
He wrote on a post on X, on January 3rd, I requested National Guard assistance, but your Sergeant at Arms denied it. Under federal law, I was prohibited from calling them in without specific approval. That same day, Carol Corbin of the Pentagon offered National Guard support.
Oh.
But I was forced to decline because I lacked the legal authority.
Aha.
On January 6th, while the Capitol was under attack and despite my repeated calls, your sergeant at arms again denied my urgent requests for over 70 agonizing minutes, running it up your chain. Why did that come off as dirty?
I don't know.
That came off as filthy to me.
Let's take this and run it up your chain.
Nancy, run this up your chain, will you?
Running it up your chain.
Fire those guys on red eye. They're getting perverted on the radio.
Well, I think it's because normally someone would say running it up the chain, not your chain. That's different.
When I needed assistance, it was denied. Yet when it suited you, you ordered fencing topped with wire and surrounded the Capitol with thousands of armed National Guard troops. Pelosi has not responded to Son's criticism.
All right. Then.
Gee, what?
Yeah.
I mean, just
Wow.
it was so much fun yesterday, and it's going to be more fun. We'll get the hopefully we'll get the audio cuts here because we figured it out. So
Yeah.
We think we have it all figured out. So
Yeah.
we'll have some more.
We turned
audio
it
coming
off,
up
and now we're turning it back on again.
with the exactly. We got a dial tone.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm in. Hello, operator.
Let me get. I want to get here to the. I think I printed it out.
Hello, operator. Get me Washington, D.C. Yes, I can hold for all the screaming.
Operator. I got Jim Croce now.
Oh, Jim Croce. Yeah.
Donald Trump, D.C. police commissioner is the headline.
Well, all right.
Cleaning up the city is a worthy task, and local control is dysfunctional. President Trump took federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police on Monday, pledging to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. He's also calling up 800 troops of the D.C. National Guard to assist. Now Washingtonians and visitors can judge Police Commissioner Trump by the results that he gets. By the way, with him saying Police Commissioner Trump, and then where did I see it? In the Babylon Bee, it's got Trump with a Batman suit on. Now the imagery I have of Police Commissioner Trump, everything's related to Batman.
Well,
now.
I told you he's Batman. We already figured that out.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
The Constitution establishes the District of Columbia as a federal enclave, so there's no abuse of power in Congress and the president exercising authority over it. Mr. Trump's threats to intervene in the policing of Chicago, say, are a different matter.
Well,
these days, that was a troll.
mm-hmm.
These days, D.C. largely governs itself using delegated power, but the law preserves presidential control of police during emergencies, generally up to 30 days. Crime is out of control, Mr. Trump said. The city's government failure to maintain public order and safety has had a dire impact on the federal government's ability to operate efficiently to address the nation's broader interest. In a news conference at the White House, violent crime has since fallen, the press quickly pointed out, and fair enough, nobody can accuse Mr. Trump of understatement. Yet Mr. Trump's opponents are in an awkward position by arguing it's no emergency if last year a mere 187 people were murdered and only 1,027 were assaulted with a dangerous weapon. By getting involved in D.C. governance, Mr. Trump is setting a precedent, and the next Democratic president could follow it with other priorities. Yet Republicans might still consider that an improvement on the status quo. At least the White House is sensitive to national opinion, which is larger than the progressive voter base that elects the D.C. City Council. Recall that President Biden, remember this, we talked about this. Remember, President Biden signed a congressional resolution in 2023 amid that year's murder surge to overturn the D.C. Council's revision to its criminal code, which included a reduction in the maximum penalties for carjacking and illegal gun possession. Well, that's something that you and I have always talked about. We talked about it back then. We talked about it with Bragg.
Yeah.
Remember Bragg in New York?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
if you rob a place with a gun, but you don't shoot it.
Right. You just use the gun, to terrorize the person.
Right. Then we don't want to charge you with a felony.
Right.
It's always amazed me that they are so pro-gun control, yet they don't want to punish people that use guns.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Actual criminals.
The vote in Congress included dozens of Democrat yeses. One was Minnesota Representative Angie Craig, who has been assaulted in an elevator in her D.C. apartment building. Another was Texas Representative Cuellar, who later that year was carjacked at gunpoint. On the whole, local control of D.C. looks like a failure. The city has enshrined non-citizen voting in local elections and sanctuary policies to thwart federal immigration enforcement. Why should the president and Congress stand for this in America's seat of government? Mr. Trump loves to cast himself as a man of action, and now he's top cop. If he really helps to clean up D.C., clearing out homeless camps and making public spaces safer for tourists and residents, he'll deserve thanks.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah. This is the thing that we always say. Once you take it on, it's yours.
Yeah.
And this is no small thing. It might have been easier taking on the border. And I'm only halfway joking.
Yeah, but you weren't dealing with Democrats there.
Exactly. That's what I mean. At least you know what you're dealing with. But that's really the rule, that you touch it, you break it, it's yours. So once you take control of it, then at that point, then it's going to have to be fixed. I don't have any doubt in my mind President Trump can handle this, because I don't have any doubt in my mind that those who are serving on the ground, that'll be helping to clean up, understand what the mission is. And I can't give you a timeline, can't tell you how well it's going to go, but I believe it is going to work.
Well, look, the one thing that I believe Trump has done in a general thing, that he has shown the American public, and this is really, when you look at government and the failings of government over the longest period of time, Trump has basically recreated the narrative that maybe existed in the past, which is if a politician really wishes to do something and goes forward with action to solve a problem, you actually have a chance of solving the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
When you don't wish to solve the problem, and I know I said it more just to make a point, but it's really true.
Yeah.
If you are a political party that runs a city and you believe and your voters believe, as we did the polling that was done last week on Democratic voters, and you believe that illegal immigrant criminals should run free on the streets, I could see you'd get to a point saying, doggone it, we as citizens of the United States need to have the same right to commit crime without being held accountable as any illegal immigrant does.
Right.
That's where the Democratic Party is right now in 2025. Total and complete insanity.
Well, they've used similar excuses. Well, more America, when the whole thing, when we were pointing out, or the right was pointing out how many violent criminals are here from other countries. Well, we also have violent criminals that are here in the U.S. that are citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the ones who aren't should be gone. That will be, you're right, that will be next. Well, we have the right to do whatever they're doing. It's a melting pot. This is what our forefathers planned. This is part of it. Freedom, pursuit of happiness, all that. Because they're scrambling, they don't know where to go. Nancy stepping in it is a perfect example. There's no way to look at this and say, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, the world is ending, unless you're an over-the-top lunatic on the left. Or you're just lying.
Here's the anchor on ABC.
All right.
Libs of TikTok had this, and I believe our audio cuts work now. Here you go. This is on ABC now. Right.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here.
Yeah.
That's ABC News Live.
Right.
Yes, I don't know who the anchor is. I don't know. They don't have the name of the anchor.
Right.
And it's not listed on a banner anywhere. So.
Yeah, that's probably their online streaming news service, like all of them have.
Yeah, I've got that on my LG channels.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. But that's, again, if you live there, there's no way to repaint the truth. You can't. What this is, it's a political effort for everybody that lives outside of D.C. That's what it is. You're not going to convince locals that everything's fine. You're not. It's not going to work that way. But you know what? It's exactly what we said, and that's, you just played proof of it. You said earlier, too, reporters live there in D.C. But also there's local, not just national reporters, local reporters. We always say, watch out for the local reporters because they want to go find out what the locals are thinking.
Well, the other thing,
the locals know,
but the local reporters are also out there reporting stories, and they don't have security with them.
Right.
And I can guarantee that if you live in an area that's high crime and you're a reporter out with yourself or just a camera person, and now they're sending reporters out, they set up the camera.
Yeah.
You have journalists that go out alone, reporters that go out alone, set up the camera and do it because of cost cutting at many local TV stations.
Right.
And it's the fear that they feel. They may not even be a victim of the crime, but they feel it.
Yeah. Right.
866-98 Red Eye.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Owner-operators with authority generally have 2 options when it comes to sourcing freight. Brokers on the spot market or directly from the source, the shipper. As any trucker with relatively recent experience with spot freight knows, the highs of working the load boards can be really high. On the other side of that coin, however, when the market flips in favor of shippers, it can be tough to keep your business afloat working with brokers. The smallest carriers with direct customers, however, can hang on through tough times or even prosper as long as demand for their customers' product remains at least somewhat stable. Owner-operators in it for the long haul make direct business with customers a principal goal. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more detail on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Just got the best audio cut. In fact, just leading up to the next audio cut that we'll do here right after the bottom of the hour is just going to be such a pleasure to do here. I'll tell you this. It involves Al Sharpton on MSNBC.
Oh, perfect.
And when you're on MSNBC and you have the number one, I'm not talking Al Sharpton here, his guest, the number one never Trumper, the first, known as the first never Trumper.
Yeah, the original, the OG never Trumper.
The OG never Trumper who says, this is not a safe place to live. We'll have this all coming up.
All right.
Oh, and Bill Maher calls out the women on The View as not the best advertisement for women.
Oh, where have we heard that before?
I know. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. All right, so this was on Al Sharpton's show on MSNBC, all right, where, again, the pounding on Trump and the whole D.C. thing, D.C. crime thing, they just were, God, do we got something else? Give us something else so we can pound on Trump. We're not winning the redistricting thing. What do we got? Oh, this is great. Let's scream, let's yell, let's go crazy. So Al Sharpton has a guest on, Rena Shaw, who is known. She promotes herself as the first never Trumper in 2016. She was the first never Trumper, not second. She led the never Trump movement. Here she is talking about crime in D.C., being a resident there for 2 decades.
Increase in federal surveillance and guns on the streets really the answer here? Rena?
Put it this way, Rev, it's a starting point. And I'm not somebody who says that lightly. I say that as somebody who has been a D.C. resident for nearly 2 decades. I have seen firsthand what D.C. has gone through post-pandemic, and it has been tough. And though crime may be down right now, it will come right back up because Mayor Muriel Bowser's leadership has failed time and time again. And I have given her a chance. Many people across the city have given her a chance to say, you can do better for us. You can keep our communities safer from violent carjackings that have resulted in deaths. Deaths on K Street, which is a business hub. Death of an Uber driver simply trying to deliver food in Navy Yard. These stick out to me because these aren't isolated incidents. It's just part and parcel with what comes with raising a young family in the nation's capital like I have. Those things she all mentioned are all fine and well, but none of it speaks to how safe Washington, D.C. actually is. It is not a safe city. It is not a city that is well run because guess what? The minority seat on the council has never even been, in my recollection, for at least a decade and a half, if not more, been occupied by a member of a minority party. I'm talking about Republicans. So blame can be put everywhere. And I don't want to make this a partisan issue. My heart sinks when I think of the countless young people who are committing these crimes, boys as young as 14. We know there's a fatherlessness crisis, but I am saying this. The mayor needs to acknowledge that the city has failed, and she has had many chances to prove she can do better. The council has had many chances to prove they can do better.
But is it the mayor? Is it the mayor?
Not what they wanted on MSNBC.
Not at all. Who let her on?
She's always criticizing Trump. This is a Republican we can get on who will criticize Trump. She's the first. She still promotes herself on her website as the first never Trumper. What happened? What happened? My God.
I love it. Well, it's, quite frankly, again, you can't get around the truth with people who have lived there like she has, like she said, 2 decades. You can't get around the facts of what life is like in D.C. You can try and paint the picture outside of D.C., which is what they're trying to do. That's the effort of an Al Sharpton or anybody else in the national media on the left. They're just trying to paint a different picture. No. Because it honestly is all they have. It is their only option. They can't possibly embrace it. They can't say this is a good thing by Trump. So they have to say there's nothing wrong here. And this is a heavy-handed approach by a guy who just wants to be a dictator. It's so old and predictable.
Well, I like the racism one. They're going after a city because it's majority black. Excuse me, they're not saying pull the police out and let everybody kill each other.
No.
They're saying that the administration and Trump is saying we wish to protect the innocent people of the city of Washington, D.C.
Right.
And if your argument is they're majority black and therefore he's a racist, it's the opposite. He wishes to keep everybody alive and safe and unafraid in their neighborhoods.
Right.
How? I go back to the Seinfeld.
How is that racist? If you're trying to protect them.
I like Asian. That's racist. How is it from Seinfeld? Right. How is it racist if I like them?
Right.
But they don't have an argument here. And that's all I kept thinking yesterday is it was so reactionary without a point. And all I could think was they're moving on to something. I don't know. I don't think they're going to stay on it long because you're not going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Trump owns it now.
Yeah.
If the crime, if the analysis of what happens isn't better in a whatever the time period would be, Trump will be blamed for it. You took it over. You didn't do it. Trump doesn't care about taking the responsibility because he believes, and by the way, I agree with him on this, that if you actually fight crime, you can make neighborhoods safer. If you put people in jail, you can make neighborhoods safer.
Yeah. Right.
How do we know this? Because it's done all over the country.
Right.
Yep. And but again, I still go back to what I said before. And the polling that was done last week, which surprised a lot of people. A plurality, even a majority at times of Democrat voters want sanctuary cities. They actually want criminal, illegal immigrants out on the street. And we believe that they just want equality. Look, we're citizens. We want to be able to commit crimes too. Why can't, without being held accountable? Doggone it, we're sick and tired of being the only ones held accountable for the crimes that we commit. We all agree that illegal immigrants should commit crimes and then roam free in our city.
We should be able to do the same.
Why can't we do the same? And it sounds bizarre.
Equality.
It sounds bizarre, but that's actually a legit observation of many Democrats and what they may be thinking right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I don't know where to go with the left because it's just become so over the top crazy. But you ask yourself, what could be their tactic that would work in something like this? If you're going to approach this and counter Trump. it was their only option to lie about and just try and lie to everybody who doesn't live in D.C.
Well, the only thing I think is if you're trying to argue it, crime is transitory.
Right.
Crime is good.
There's only higher crime because Trump is president. Which nobody believes. But where do you go with it? You can't ignore it. You ignore it, you're silent, and it's like, okay, well, and you can't embrace it. So you just have to, the game is to make everybody who lives outside of D.C. try to make them believe that nothing is wrong, nothing is going on. Crime is not a problem. Even that is laughable. It's well known. I've never lived inside of D.C. Not even close. You and I have known it for anybody who follows the news knows it.
Yeah, and so when you look at, because we knew this was coming. We had warning over the weekend that this was coming.
Yeah.
Because they said he's going to, discuss this.
Yeah.
And so you just wonder, do the Democrats sit down and say, okay, if he announces this will be our pushback and we believe that we can win on this? I really would be very surprised if anyone is talking about this on the Democrat side by Friday. I don't see the upside of their arguments.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
And there's no upside when you have anchors and residents there who say, no, it's bad. And even if it has gone down a little bit, it's still unacceptable. The fear is out there. We need cops on the street. We need the National Guard out there. We need a presence of law enforcement out there in order to make people safe so they're willing to go out and do the things that, they wish to do.
Yep.
And I love how the one for the first Never Trumper said, this isn't supposed to be political. Crime is not supposed to be political. Well, of course it is for Democrats. We know it is.
Yes. It's always political for them because they need the crime to be going on. They need the chaos. Now, it used to be they needed that so that election time they could come in and say, we are pro-law enforcement. Now they just need the chaos. Because what they want to tell you, think about this, when the whole shoplifting thing started, the smash and grabs and everything else, AOC, they're just trying to feed their families. Really? Because the law enforcement communities found, in fact, it was a group of individuals that were running a business through these smash and grabs. They had online stores they were selling the stuff on. They're not trying to feed their families. They're thieves. They're crooks. They're criminals. They need you to believe that things are so bad, people are resorting to this. That people are living in fear, and this is how they're going to respond if they live in fear. Because they can't possibly come in and say, well, we're going to clean things up. No, they don't want that. They've been busy over the last several years with bail reform and trying to put them back on the streets as quickly as possible. Of course they're going to say nothing's wrong in D.C. because they don't have a problem with the crime. They need to just own it. We don't have a problem with these types of crimes. It's just today's world. It's the world we live in. Oh, well, can't do nothing about it. If Trump weren't president, I want you to believe that this wasn't happening when Joe Biden was president, or wouldn't happen if Hillary had become president. Wasn't happening when Obama was president. That's a load of BS.
Well, solving the problem like Trump wasn't present.
Nobody wanted a solution.
No.
Nobody wanted a solution.
Nope.
Think about how big this move is. It's huge. This announcement is huge.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Earlier, we said that, the crime problem in Washington, D.C. has been known for decades. Wait till you hear, coming up on the top of the hour,
All right,
who absolutely gives that statement that we said credibility. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it doesn't.
Oh,
wait, though.
No, well,
you got to wait till you hear it coming up.
Okay.
Plus, the president of the D.C. Police Union has come out in full support of Trump's federalizing the police department and a whole bunch more. Energy. We talked yesterday about New Jersey and electricity, how Governor Murphy went in there and just completely, I mean, they were fine. And now across the country, we're going to find this.
Yeah.
That because of the data centers, AI, and everything else, the fear is we're not going to have enough power. Another thing, self-inflicted.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Hi. Hello. We're conservative, and we here at Red Eye Radio, we made the proclamation years ago that we're against murder and we're against crime.
That's right.
So we want to make that clear.
We are.
Apparently, that is a radical position to hold today. Now, speaking of the president and crime in D.C., let's go to the president of the D.C. Police Union, who came out in full support, Greg Pemberton, yesterday of President Trump and what he is doing.
Well, look, we completely agree with the president that crime in the District of Columbia is out of control and something needs to be done with it. We have to go back to how we got here, though. In 2020, the D.C. City Council passed an enormous amount of legislation that handcuffs police officers, exposes them to administrative, civil, and even criminal liability, even when they do their jobs properly. And now, 5 years later, our authorized sworn strength is 4,000 sworn police officers. We currently have 3,180. So we have more than 800 vacancies for the position of police officer. And the way the department makes up for that gap is through 2 million hours of mandatory overtime every year. So the fact that we need help from federal law enforcement and maybe even the National Guard, it shouldn't come as a surprise. And we agree with that. I think one of the issues here, though, is that we all know that's going to be temporary. So in order to fix this problem and make sure that it doesn't ebb and flow and that the feds come in and we lower crime and then they leave and we're left holding the bag, it's very important that people know that there is underlying legislation that needs to be corrected so that we can actually properly staff this police department in order to properly police the city.
There he is.
Yeah.
We talked about for decades, America has known about the problem of high crime in cities across the country and especially Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if this is going to give that opinion that we have given more or less credibility because of the person talking about crime in Washington, D.C. back in 1992. Here is then Senator Joe Biden talking about how he runs red lights when driving in D.C. to avoid being carjacked.
Driving home, my staff who lives here in the Hill reminded me, don't stop at a stoplight until I'm out of town. If I see a red light late at night, since there's very little traffic, slow up at the other block so I never come to a full stop except in the middle of the block because of carjackings. Stopping at a light, people standing in a corner, walking up with a gun.
There you go. So I don't know if that hurts our argument or makes it better.
I just can't help but do the math. Those carjackers now are well into their 60s, maybe even 70s. That was 1992, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1992.
Yeah, those carjackers would be 33 years older.
And when Raskin can't come out blasting, here's Jamie, Representative Raskin yesterday, who would, when I saw this, I went, oh, he's just got to go crazy on it. Here we go. You ready?
All right.
When he has to soft pedal, there's a problem.
Yeah. But people don't always feel the statistics, right? Do you, as someone who, works in the District of Columbia, you drive through it all the time, you know a lot of people who live here all the time, do you feel like crime is down in D.C. compared to other more recent years?
Well, definitely when you compare it to, other periods in the history of Washington, D.C., when there was, very serious spikes in crime and it, felt really dangerous to go out. But look, I agree, you can't feel safe enough, especially these days. The question is who you trust to promote your security and public safety. Is it the mayor?
So there it is. Is it the mayor or we knew where he's going. Is it the locals or Trump? And that was where I said earlier, that's really when I saw that audio cut, I went, sorry, there isn't a Democrat that can beat Trump on law and order.
No,
it doesn't.
Look,
it doesn't exist
because their party has been in unison for years now, shouting, "Boo, law and order." Defund the police, abolish ICE.
Anti-10 Commandments.
Anti-10 Commandments. I bring you these 15, crash, 10 commandments. It has been their goal to do away with law enforcement, not increase it.
No, we went through it, but we've been, and the people remember it. Yeah. The mostly peaceful protest.
Right.
Democrats have no credibility when it comes to law and order. They don't.
Mostly peaceful carjackings. This is where they are. And if you want to enforce laws, if you want to increase law enforcement, you're racist. It's just getting old. Just getting so old and tired.
I know.
Because it's all they've got. Because most Americans, the people living in D.C., they want law enforcement. You go back to the defund the police thing. Remember how that played out. The movement itself, the radicals, defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. Then you ask the people, should we defund the police? Yeah, but not my police. Defund the bad police. Well, who would that be? Well, not my police. Don't defund the police in my town. Who is it that's calling 911? Who is it that Trump is looking to protect?
Yeah.
It is the people in D.C., and you could apply it in terms of his support of law enforcement and sealing the border, the people of America. the everyday people. He's not picking and choosing here. In fact, let's face it.
Well,
D.C. is a very liberal population, very blue population, and President Trump wants to protect those very blue voters.
I think it was early in Biden's first term, and I believe it was Peggy Noonan from the Wall Street Journal that wrote that article, remember, about everything being broken?
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems broken. And I think there was a point that the Never Trumper made that crime shouldn't be a political issue. Well, when you look at crime, when you look at the border, when you look at energy, it all relates, and we'll talk about energy here in a little bit, but it all fits. And these are the basic things that government should be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to have a secure border. We now do.
Yep.
We have a secure border. The Democrats said it can't be done. First, they denied that there was a problem, and then they said it can't be done.
Right.
And Trump said it can be done.
Right.
And within months,
it was done.
Done.
Like he said, you don't need new laws. You needed a new president.
Right. You needed somebody to obey the law. The problem, and I don't know if it's ever been articulated this way, that we've articulated many times before. It's not that Democrats can't solve the problems. It's that they don't wish to solve the problems, and they create the problems with their legislation. That's the difference. It's not that the Democrats have a different idea of how things should be done. Their ideas of how things should be done absolutely accelerate the problems.
Well, this is why the one thing I'm scratching my head at here, like I said earlier, isn't the fact that they're lying and saying there's nothing wrong. It's the fact that they're not embracing crime for the first time in a long time. Why not? You're the ones wanting to you worked on bail reform, bailing out these criminals, helping to get them back on the streets as soon as possible. Why aren't you, in the case of D.C., saying carjackers just can't afford cars?
Well,
they're just trying to get a car, so they can get to their job.
It's the justification of shoplifting. It's the justification that Bragg had. Understand how insane the Democrats have gone. When Bragg first became DA, and he really did it. He floated that we may not prosecute people who use a handgun in an armed robbery with a felony as long as they don't shoot it.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If you're a Democrat right now, you got to, if you're listening to that, I know what you're doing. That never happened. That never happened. It happened.
It happened. It happened.
And the only way you can in your mind justify it is to pretend it didn't happen. And those guys are throwing this guy. We're not. It happened. When you see the border, it wasn't that the Democrats couldn't solve the border problem. They wanted open borders. It's not that the Democrats can't solve the problem of crime in the cities. They want the problem to exist. How do we know? They've told us they want sanctuary cities. They've told us they want illegal immigrant criminals running on the streets. Depending on where you are, a plurality to a majority of Democrats are in favor of protecting illegal immigrant criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make this up. Nope. And so, and then you look at, and that's why I can take it even to all the topics that we're talking about. And again, another article written about the election coming up in New Jersey and about electricity prices and how that's going to, how that could affect the Democrats in a negative way. Well, what the hell do you expect? And the story with New Jersey, as we told you, before Murphy became governor, they had become self-sufficient in energy.
Yeah.
All their energy was produced in state.
Right.
And then they said, let's close down the coal plants. Let's natural gas. No, we're not going to use as much. Wind and solar. Think about this. Adults said, let's go from consistent energy that is reliable to inconsistent energy, an energy source that will not produce electricity when the wind dies, and another energy source that won't produce electricity when the sun is set, and let's get rid of all the backup.
Yeah.
What type of idiot does that?
Right.
The same type of idiot that says, crime isn't a problem.
Right.
In fact, I think the racism, you want the racism in our society? It's the Democratic Party not doing everything they can to clean up the cities of the crime.
Where are they wanting to protect the minorities in D.C. who are lawful, just trying to make a living, just trying to live their life? Where is the left trying to protect them?
And that was that's the posterior backwards narrative the Democrats are throwing out yesterday and the day before. Well, Trump, see the racist Trump. The Trump's going in there. He's going to take over. He's going to be a dictator. He wants to be a dictator over black people. What the hell are you talking about?
He's trying to protect the lawful people of the D.C. area.
It's just, and so you look at it, just to give you a couple of examples of the major issues we're talking right now. And here we go again. It's not that Democrats can't solve the problems. They don't wish to solve the problems. That's the problem.
Yep. No, this is exactly what they want. They need the chaos. They are nothing without extreme crisis. Fighting again. It's like they're standing back going, boo, law and order.
Yeah. Well, we remember the summer of 2020 and the insanity.
Mm-hmm. Mostly peaceful.
Yep. We think it's a great idea, especially for domestic calls. Don't send a police officer. Send a social worker.
And Mamdani wants to do that again.
I know. I mean, just complete idiocy.
What they need, because what carjackers need is hugs.
Have you hugged a carjacker today?
Listen, as you're getting out of the car, just lean in. Give the carjacker a hug.
Well, you shouldn't have bought such a nice vehicle.
Flaunting your wealth.
Flaunting your wealth.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
How dare you buy a new vehicle?
Yep.
And you're going to spend hours a day in traffic in D.C. How dare you? You should ride public transportation like normal people.
You know, it's interesting because I've got to see if Michael Rappaport, because that's one of the things. That's one of the things that really set him off against the Democratic Party, the most loyal liberal Democrat you could ever find.
Oh yeah,
and until crime started hitting,
right.
And, that's why the whole broken windows thing, the whole broken windows police concept works.
Yep.
You go after the little crime to stop the big crime. You just don't allow people to do whatever the hell they want to do. And when it got to the point, we remember here, even when they did it in Dallas, well, if you steal under, I forgot what it was, $800.
Yeah.
If you shoplift only under $800.
Fill out something online.
Just to fill out a report later on, we're not going to come. We're not going to bother to come because we're not going to do that. Well, what the hell you think that's going to happen?
And the bad guys know. They can walk in multiple times a day, fill a cart and go.
I don't know how far I would get in my city that I live in if I attempted to walk out with $800 worth of goods.
I'm trying to put the carry baskets. When you only have a few things, the little carry basket. Well, now they have the little reader on them so they don't leave the store. I'm trying to put it across on the other side where it goes, where people are coming in. And I put it down, and it buzzes, and I'm thinking I'm going to get tackled by SWAT team. It's an empty cart. I'm trying to do a good thing.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
Red Eye Radio, he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here. You know, the other thing that because they asked Trump about, more different issues, including the Los Angeles Palisades fire and the rebuilding. Yeah. And there's some profanity in it, so I can't actually play the audio cut, but let me read you the actual quotes. They still don't have their city permits. They have all their federal permits. The mayor said, I think we can have them in 2 years. People wanted to start rebuilding immediately. 2 years. Are you kidding me? Now they're talking about putting low-income housing there. This is one of the most beautiful areas of the country. I built low-income housing. They want to replace those homes with low-income housing. They haven't gotten their permits yet. These people are angry. They love their neighborhood. Now they want to leave. They've lost their spirit. They've lost their heart. The mayor of L.A. is incompetent. Gavin is incompetent. He's got a good line of BS, says the word, but he's incompetent. The fact that these people still don't have their permits is a disgrace. And he talked about also when he was in there, remember, did the meeting with them, people were booing her. And he was like, come on. He goes, still, things aren't moving ahead. We know that Bill Maher, that's one of the biggest things that Bill Maher talked about. Remember he was building something? Was it solar panels he wanted to put on or whatever? Yeah. And he couldn't get it done. It took him years to do it.
Right.
But this is another thing that we've talked about. All these encompass issues that people don't view as political, just basic government services to get done, and Democrats don't wish to do it.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. In other news, and I saw this headline, then it disappeared. It was out there, and then it was like it was gone because of all the stuff from the D.C. crime stuff. But reading this from ABC, 10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the justices this fall will consider for the first time whether to take up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. Kim Davis, a former Kentucky county clerk who was jailed for 6 days in 2015 after refusing to issue marriage licenses to a gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 for attorney's fees, because attorney's fees are always more important than emotional damage. In a petition, Davis argues First Amendment protection for free exercise of religion immunizes her from past personal liability for the denial of marriage licenses. More fundamentally, she claims the High Court's decision extending marriage rights for same-sex couples under the 14th Amendment's due process protections was wrong, was legally wrong. The mistake must be corrected, wrote Davis's attorney, Matthew Staver, in a position. He called Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion legal fiction. The petition appears to mark the first time since 2015 that a court has been formally asked to overturn the landmark marriage decision. Davis is seen as one of the only Americans currently with legal standing to bring a challenge to the precedent, because she's claiming she was damaged because she had to pay. It's interesting. If there ever was a case of exceptional importance, her attorney wrote, the first individual in the Republic's history who was jailed for following her religious convictions regarding the historic definition of marriage, this should be it. Lower courts have dismissed Davis's claim, and most legal experts consider her bid a long shot. A federal appeals court panel concluded earlier this year that the former clerk cannot raise the First Amendment as a defense because she is being held liable for state action, which the First Amendment does not protect. Davis, as the Rowan County clerk in 2015, was the sole authority tasked with issuing marriage licenses on behalf of the government under state law. Not a single judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals showed any interest in Davis's rehearing petition, and we are confident the Supreme Court will likewise agree with Davis's argument, do not merit further attention, said William Powell, attorney for the now married Kentucky couple that sued Davis for damages in a statement to ABC News. Yeah, I don't know if it's ever going to get to the point of her. I do agree with the fact that she can make claim that she has claim to it because she was damaged, and the damage would be the money that she had to pay and the jail time. That's how she was damaged.
Right.
Whether she's going to win that on First Amendment rights as a government employee doing something, there's a ton of different arguments. There's a ton of different arguments in there. I would say you do not give up your First Amendment rights just because you're employed, but you do give them up in your employment.
Well, I'm looking at like the punishment against her versus firing.
Yeah,
removal from office.
That would be a case, right? We don't. For example, there is no in this job. For example, there is no. We have no, and people are shocked about this, but if a company wishes to fire us for something we say on the air, we don't have a First Amendment right. You don't have a First Amendment right to say whatever you want at work or behave however you want.
The government can't punish us.
The government can't. Right.
Your employer can take action.
Right.
Now, again, you get into the case where the employer is the government, but we're looking at state government here.
It's still an employer, though.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I agree with you on that. The proper thing should have been firing, right?
Right, because
if you fire, you have less of an argument back than if you're actually fined for it, because she was fined. They say if she was fined, that's not state action.
Right.
If they put the suit, I don't know who paid it. Did she pay it or did the state pay it?
She was ordered to pay it.
Okay. Well, then that's not.
And she spent 5 days in jail as well.
Then she has a point.
Yeah, and she spent 5 days in jail as well.
If they firing isn't viewed as a punishment either, though.
Right.
It's not viewed as a punishment. I mean, legally so you can file suit. Understand what I'm stating here. Now, the problem I have with this now that it's been law for 10 years, and maybe a more significant portion of gay couples will say, God, that marriage thing was a bad mistake.
Well, we're getting to that 10-year mark.
We should have taken the warning from all the other married couples out there. No, I've always, you and I've always viewed the actual legal decision as a flawed decision. If you have states that wish to say we want gay marriage, it's no problem.
Right.
If states wish to do that, then if states wish to do it, what we objected to was the court creating a right that does not exist under the 14th Amendment.
Right.
But the fact is, we have always hoped that since the Supreme Court decision did go through, where they actually changed the 14th Amendment, which had nothing to do, the 14th Amendment, with anything else except slavery. That's why it existed.
Mm-hmm.
It was about slavery. But it was about equal protection under the law,
right?
Not being treated equally across the law, or excuse me, across all laws.
Yeah, not equal treatment, equal protection. There is a difference.
And equal treatment, since they went to the point of changing it to equal treatment, our hope was nobody pays any more in taxes.
Dollar-wise, not percentage.
Not percentage, dollar-wise. Everybody pays the exact, based on what the precedent should be in this set down. Because once you expanded it from slavery to gay marriage, you've expanded it. You've opened it up and said, okay, you've said, all right, this isn't about equal protection under the law. This is about equal treatment. Anything government does, you must be equally treated, which means everybody pays the same amount in taxes.
Right.
Nobody pays one more dime, because why should anybody pay any more?
Right.
If everyone, according to the 14th Amendment, must be treated equally. By the way, our tax system has that not exemption, but how they justified different taxes was, well, as long as everybody is in this particular category, then they pay the same. For example, if your adjusted gross income is $75,000, everybody whose adjusted gross income is $75,000 pays the same. And we said, well, yeah, but the fact of once you changed it and said gay marriage, that was the argument not to support gay marriage. That there's a change.
Right.
A male and female is not a male and a male. 75,000 is not 65,000. You're still making money, but it's a different level.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to say it's equal treatment under the law, but there's no more classifications, at here when it comes to marriage, well, then how can there be classifications when it comes to taxes? You can't have classifications. Everybody pays the exact same amount. Everybody must be treated equally. Now, nobody has challenged that yet, have they?
Nope.
We've always wondered, and nobody's ever
We
challenged
thought
that.
maybe it would hit, but it hasn't yet.
Yeah?
That's only been 10 years.
That's true. Takes a while.
Yeah. It's only been 10 tax returns. Let it sink in after a while. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
And that's the thing. It's the court changing the 14th Amendment. That's our if you have legislatures, as they did, that said gay marriage is legal in our state, well, you may disagree with it, but that's the proper process of how to follow it. And what would have happened over the years? You probably would have had the majority of states by now probably legalize gay marriage. There would be some, it'd probably be what? 2/3 of the states that would have by this time?
Yeah. Right.
And the rest because of civil unions. And then there would also probably be a big push just to get the government out of marriage completely. Look, make it a binding contract between you and someone else if you wish to live together, no matter what it is. You make there's some type of law or binding agreement to distribute property afterwards. And when it comes to, hospitals and, all that, you can designate whoever you want to come in and visit you. That the government shouldn't be involved in that whatsoever. That should be a personal decision.
Right.
But our problem has always been with the 14th Amendment. But since they changed the 14th Amendment, Eric and I are still looking for that suit that's going to say, wait a minute, why should anybody pay any more in taxes than anybody else? We never talk about that, do we? Why should somebody and the no tax on overtime? Well, it's not really the no tax on some overtime
for some people. Yeah,
for some people, it's like I did read something the other day, and it's like a lot of people, because the administration's been talking. There's no taxes on Social Security. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is. It's like the way they were promoting it goes like there are going to be some people
in that age group.
Yeah, some people next year that go, whoa, because there will be people that do not collect Social Security that will be getting a tax break that people on Social Security will not be getting.
Right. Because it has to do with income level.
Right.
And it has to do with age. It's
right.
really about age and income level. It has nothing to do
with Social
your
Security.
Social Security.
Yeah. But because they keep promoting no taxes on Social Security, okay, nobody pays taxes on Social.
Right.
Yeah, you do.
And that's only, 2 years?
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason you can do that is because everyone who fits those classifications gets it. Are there people being treated unequally? Yes. After this law is done, people that work 80 hours a week and get overtime,
right?
Why should they pay any more in taxes than anybody else? Well, because they earn more. So, because they made a life choice, because of their life choice, they should pay more?
That's not fair.
Not fair at all. How dare you do that?
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I just don't think Roberts will want to revisit that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. There is a concern with the level of punishment. What should the remedy have been? Should it have been just firing?
It should have been
removal from office instead of the fine and the 5 days in jail.
Right. Well, you fire and then she sues and it whatever happens
and you go from there.
And then you take their First Amendment thing from her lawsuit from being fired.
Right, exactly.
866-90 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We're Red Eye Radio. He's our Carly and I'm Gary McNamara. Did you hear about the Democratic whistleblower? This is a Democrat who says that Adam Schiff leaked. He was in a meeting with Adam Schiff where he authorized leaking classified information to try to hurt Donald Trump.
No.
This is a Democrat whistleblower.
Yeah.
We'll have that coming up. Now, look, it's no surprise to us. We're the ones that said for the longest time, and we felt like we were out alone on an island because we said it for years, that Adam Schiff, when he was the head of the Intelligence Committee, lied to the American public about what the intelligence said about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Then Devin Nunes came out and said, "You're lying. This isn't true. It doesn't exist anywhere." Right. He was the Republican head of the House Intelligence Committee. That's why Adam Schiff lost his seat.
Right.
Remember that?
Right. Yeah. Wonder what will happen here.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. Hi, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Bunch of other stories to cover here.
Oh, boy.
HBO host Bill Maher ripped the all-female female-hosted ABC daytime talk show, The View, as unhelpful for both Democrats and women. Speaking on his Club Random podcast with guest Drew Barrymore, another rocket scientist, who hosts her own daytime talk show. Maher said he personally likes some of the hosts of The View, but the show itself is it's just not very helpful for anyone. And it's not the best advertisement for women.
Where have we heard that before?
You know, I love Whoopi and Joy. Those are the two I really know, and I did like it a year ago, and I liked everybody, but I don't know if they're really, at this moment, the best advertisement for women. Now, both Eric and I related to that because for years, I have been saying that The View perpetuates the completely wrong stereotype of women as intellectual nightmares who are emotional with no critical thinking skills at all, unlike the women that I know in my life, family, and friends.
Right.
And listeners.
Right.
Completely different, but they perpetuate
it's that cartoonish,
that misogynistic viewpoint.
Well, you and I also look at it. I have no idea what clearly the ratings are good enough to keep them on the air, or maybe they're not. Maybe this is a whole Colbert, approach.
No, I heard they're doing good.
Are they doing? I thought they were.
Yeah,
but is it a train wreck thing? My oldest daughter, I'll never forget. This is years ago. And she's now in her 40s. But we were talking Kardashians. Speaking of train wrecks, why would anybody tune in? And she said, my daughter said, oh, no. With me and my friends, if we ever watch a clip or something, even on like YouTube or something, or just watch, we don't really tune into the show. But if we pay attention to it at all, it's the train wreck. I can only take so much train wreck.
When you had the story that was out where 8 of 9 of those Congress people, Democrats, said they were basically scared to death of their own constituents. And they are elite. They live in gated communities.
Yep.
What is you take that and then you look at what is the one demographic that supports passionately and has stayed rock solid for the Democrats. White, rich women. So I think there is an audience for The View. I think The View relates to that demographic of Democrat. By the way, if you're a rich, elite, conservative woman, I'm not talking about you.
Doesn't apply to you.
Right.
You clearly have critical thinking skills.
Right. And nothing has to do, any of the opinion.
And also Gary's single. I just have to throw that in. It's totally unrelated. Little factoid.
And I was.
Yeah.
Because when the whole concept of a cougar was presented to me.
Yeah.
That there's cougars out there.
Yeah.
I went, well, that can sound pretty exciting until I realized that at my age, the average cougar would be 107 years old.
That's right. Would be a record-breaking cougar.
And all of a sudden, it took just maybe a tad of the intellectual stimulation away.
My wife is 14 months older, so there's a time during the year where she hits her birthday, and then she's, for that couple of months, she's 2 years older than me. And then for that 2 months, I'm always teasing her about it. She looks much younger. She's beautiful, and she looks much younger than I do, and she's much smarter than I am.
You're obligated.
I married up.
You're obligated to say all that stuff, though.
Nope. Actually, I'm not. Trust me.
By the way, I just want to make sure.
What?
She's not listening now, is she?
No. But I'm also not obligated. She'll be listening to the podcast, though. She listens to the podcast every day.
I'll be in trouble.
Yeah. No, she'll. Right. Exactly.
It's like you won't be in trouble. I'll be in trouble.
Yeah. You tell Gary that I said. No, she does.
That's all you need.
Does, right.
That I drive a wedge between you two.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, that's never happened yet, has it?
You tell your work spouse that I said 20 years, that's nothing.
Well, you tell your wife to stay out of our business.
That's right. Stay in her own lane.
Wow. That would get us on TMZ, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. It's it's
the nightmare, the red eye radio nightmare.
I love it because, my wife and I we travel a lot on the road. Our parents are a few hours away. And so we travel quite a bit, and every weekend, it's kind of our time is our time in the car. That's date night, basically, the road trip. But we enjoy it because we have our own little talk shows, and she's so pragmatic and smart, and like conservative women, like what we're talking about, and it is such a contrast when we play audio from The View. It's just, and I think to myself, what is it? Because you and I have talked. You grew up on the northern border. I grew up on the southern border. But it was a similar culture, right? I didn't grow up in a, Buffalo, New York culture. You didn't grow up in a Del Rio, San Antonio, Texas culture.
No.
But it was the mindset, and it's because we had similar parents. Our parents were very much alike in that regard. But also, there is, at some point, I have to believe that those people on The View just give up. They don't look to learn anything.
No, that's a great point. I mean, and you start out with our parents. I mean, my mother was my late mom. She was a critical thinker.
Yeah,
right. You obviously she was. I mean, she was interested in, and she was always wanting to learn. And the women that I know, and my friends, relatives, cousins, all the women that I know have this thirst for knowledge because they want to know what the truth is.
Yeah.
And when you see here Bill Maher, and by the way, that is not, it's got nothing to do with being a woman. It has to do with your mind.
Right.
Whatever's in your mind is what makes you what you are.
Yeah.
And so
the individual.
I mean, we could sit there and we're just talking about The View at the moment, which happens to be all women, but there's a lot of men who mirror exactly what the women on The View do on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good.
No.
But when Bill Maher says, again, nobody represents, it was like years ago when I was at that St. Patrick's Day party and a bunch of these old, apparently Irish guys came up to me and were livid at me because I was a conservative.
Right.
And I identified much more with the Republican Party than I did the Democratic Party. And this goes back to the late 80s, early 90s. This is when I first became a talk show host. I'll never forget, they told me I was basically betraying my race and my religion because I was an Irish Catholic who wasn't a Democrat. And I burst out. I mean, was I hurt by it? I burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Because, again, my, it's got nothing to do with, me being my ethnicity has nothing to do with how I think.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
It's my observation of reality and what goes on and the search for the truth.
Right.
Like anything else. So it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man or whatever. It's what's in your brain. But there are stereotypes that exist out there. The worst stereotypes, the misogynist stereotypes that women are dumb. And that's what Bill Maher's saying. And we've said it before. They promote the false stereotype that women are emotional nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a few examples. During his own appearance, this is Bill Maher, Sonny claimed that Israel was murdering Palestinians, but Maher was not convinced. He noted that Israel had a right to root out and destroy the terrorist Hamas regime in Gaza, and said if the Palestinians wanted to avoid civilian deaths, they should stop their terrorist attacks on Israel. That's what happens in war. He also blasted Whoopi for her absurd claim that blacks were just as oppressed in the United States today as women are in Iran.
Wow.
I mean, those are just kooky thoughts.
Yeah. Again, it's an indication that you don't look to learn anything. Because in doing what we do, you and I know, there's certain things you're going to get checked by the people who like you in doing what we do. You come in and you lay down something wrong, your own audience that generally supports you will call you out if you get something wrong. Like during those years when Dean Martin starred in Hogan's Heroes. I look forward to your email. I know. I know it was Peter Lawford.
Or Gerald Nadler with Schultz.
Right, exactly. But, those are things. Well, the one time we quoted Animal House, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And we got email.
Yeah, that
was years ago.
That was in the first month of working together.
Yeah.
And someone said, it's over. And one of us said, over? Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
And we got so many. Social media wasn't really as big at that time. It was emails.
Yeah.
And people were like, you guys are just idiots. I just started listening to you guys. You don't even know that it was the Japanese that bombed Pearl Harbor, not the Germans.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh. Apparently, and we talked about it on the air, but we're like, you really can't, if you say, well, it was in a movie, unless you actually saw the movie, you wouldn't know the impact on the culture of that quote.
Right.
Right.
And now, the audience gets used to, what we do and how we do it.
Right.
But still, you're thoughtful in what you say because you don't want to be, and how many times has Whoopi just completely stepped in it?
Oh. Well, as we said, I don't believe there's any other show that, at least it's been publicized, that they have lawyers not standing by. They have lawyers monitoring everything that they say because they're so afraid that the host at any moment will defame someone and there'll be a lawsuit or say something that's so incredibly embarrassing that they have to have lawyers monitoring every sentence, every word that they say because they don't trust them.
Right.
I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine.
Could you imagine sitting here and all of a sudden, every couple of weeks, some guy say, you know what it reminds me of? Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
yes.
the two twins?
Right. Yep. Checking everything.
Checking everything. Exactly. Could you imagine we're doing a show and every couple of weeks, all of a sudden we get a note because you see the lawyer sitting over there writing down something comes in. You guys have to say this. You have to have a legal notice at the top of the hour for what you said last hour.
Right.
Could you? I'd quit.
Yeah. I'd quit because I would feel so embarrassed.
Yeah. I'd be gone.
Yeah.
There's no embarrassment. There's no embarrassment for their ignorance and stupidity.
And,
none. No shame.
And it's one thing to do it once or twice, but they do it all the time.
Who was it? I forgot. The one that was it Sonny that was so upset you could just tell? Here's another one. All right, here's what we met. She was so
But that's
angry.
another thing. Are they ever happy? Are they ever happy?
Not even Joy is.
Joy needs to get a new name.
Yeah.
Liz Cheney. Change your name to Liz Cheney.
They're never happy.
Because you're that miserable.
They're never happy. Now, that's the realistic stereotype of women.
I think we hit something here.
And you wonder why I'm single.
And ladies, he's still single.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at JJ Keller, and I'm here to share a tip on roadside inspections. Once a roadside inspection is completed, the officer will close it out, which involves the officer writing or typing up the report. The more the officer found during the inspection, the longer this will take. If violations were discovered, most officers, as a courtesy, will explain the violations to the driver. If there were any out-of-service violations, the officer will normally explain what must be done to get the out-of-service order lifted. Drivers need to be very attentive during this part of the inspection. The driver also needs to read and understand the complete inspection report. After receiving the inspection report, the driver has 24 hours to get the roadside inspection report to the motor carrier. If the driver will not be returning to a company facility within the next 24 hours, the driver needs to know to get it on the way to you via email, mail, or fax within 24 hours. This tip was brought to you by JJ Keller and Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
And we are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley. I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up on the bottom of the hour, a Democratic whistleblower who was a career intelligence officer, I guess, on the staff of the Democrat Intelligence Committee when Adam Schiff was there. Says Adam Schiff authorized leaking classified information to try to hurt Trump. We'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. He's got some problems coming up here, does he not?
You know, he does. And you asked the question the other day, why aren't there more Democrats out there defending him on the, jumping out in front of it for him on the whole mortgage fraud charges? And, I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe they're waiting to see where it's all going to land. But also you and I having, the conversation both on and off the air about, the history of Adam Schiff and who he has been. And I think with the Democrats, we know this. They're not quick to eat their own, but these days, I think there are some that they would probably look at and go, that one's worth saving and is the future of the party. That one, not so much. And Adam Schiff is probably in the latter, not the former group. And because, you don't need that kind of grief. And in a world where, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and Beto are making all the noise. Adam Schiff doesn't fit in with that group. You know what I mean? So why defend him? They don't care.
He's just another
seat filler.
Boring white guy.
Exactly. He's a seat filler in California.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's basically what he's doing right now. He's a seat filler.
Have a line open. 1-866-90-RED-EYE. Red Eye Radio.
And he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I just love this here.
Yeah.
Before we get to the audio I want to play, I just saw this one and went, wow. Viewers turned on late-night talk show host Jimmy Fallon.
No.
They turned on him, not didn't turn him on.
Oh,
they turned on him.
Turned on him.
Turned on him, not turned him on. The TV, I meant. For hosting Fox News' Greg Gutfeld on NBC's The Tonight Show last week. Mm-hmm. Viewers took to social media to react to Thursday's episode, expressing their dismay over Fallon hosting the conservative guest. I never liked Fallon at all. I like him less now, said one post.
All right.
Fallon has always been a yes to everyone, man. The guy has got almost zero conviction. Well, that's sort of true.
Well, but here's the thing. Are you looking, now the left is, we know the answer to this, but is the audience in the entertainment world looking for conviction, or are they just looking for a variety show?
No, but I just say that in the fact that he comes, just his personality and style is over the top excited, where it's like,
no, you're right.
That's
right.
That's what I mean by
we've
that.
talked about that. He's the ultimate fanboy of everything.
Right.
And nobody's a fanboy of everything.
No.
It's a little too much. In fact, that's probably, I'll watch some clips on YouTube if they come up, an interview, if it's, Nate Bargatze's on there or something. I'll watch something like that. That's part of what's killing late night TV is moves like that. And I think, well, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't in that world, because are you going to just then not have a YouTube channel for the Tonight Show? Well, you have to. You have to have a X page. You have to have everything. And now they're finding that people would rather go and get the highlights of the show and not stay up late and watch the show.
Yeah, I just meant his over that. He probably, like everybody, probably has convictions in real life. That's just his stage, persona. But at times it's like, okay, it's a little bit over the top.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's, I'm trying to think, it's, for gosh sakes, it's Air Supply you have on.
Yeah. Now that's how you do heavy metal. No, Jimmy, that's not heavy metal at all.
I couldn't think of anybody else.
Yeah.
Went, Air Supply. That'll work out. Oh, just another thing, because I had wondered when the night after Colbert got fired, you saw that a bunch of comedians and everybody came to support him.
Yeah.
And one was Adam Sandler. And
I saw that.
And I wondered about his politics. And then I saw Rob Schneider talking about him. He said, most loyal guy, and everybody knows where Rob Schneider is now.
Oh, yeah,
anybody who doesn't know
about Rob.
that he's a Trump supporter and he's much more conservative and everything else.
Yeah,
nothing whatsoever. And he said, and he was talking about the second movie, hockey player, golfer.
The Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore too. Yes. Yeah. And he said everything he does, he puts him in it. Every single thing. He said when he goes, loyalty is the most important thing. He said it's just common for him.
Yeah.
And I may have to watch it because I did see Scotty Scheffler was in it.
And John Daly.
John Daly was in it.
And the clip that I saw with John Daly looked pretty funny. I think he pulled it off.
All I saw was a part where this guy's heckling Scotty Scheffler. He goes out and punches him. And the guy goes flying down. And so Scotty Scheffler's disqualified. And then the police come and arrest him. And he goes, not again. I went, okay.
That's funny.
That was funny. But Sandler said none, so I didn't read anything into it because he's never really been political, has he?
No, he's
Adam
really
Sandler.
apolitical, and you don't, it's silly. It's just kind of,
professional.
he's just,
You're right.
Yeah, he's just, that's, his comedy is just what it is, and you never get anything except, okay, he's probably fun to hang around with. Other than that, I've never heard him get political ever. Henry Winkler, the other day I saw a clip with, on the Rich Eisen show, and a ways back, actually, I think it goes back a year or two, but he was talking about Adam Sandler. He goes, smart, funny, dresses horribly. Henry Winkler is so funny. He is so funny.
And I never knew until about a month ago that he was responsible, because we know Henry Winkler's a liberal.
Yeah.
But he's the one that got Rocky.
Yeah, Stallone gave him the script. He took it to ABC.
Yep.
He actually sold it to ABC and then had to go give the money back because they wanted to change writers.
Yep.
And, Stallone said, you
But he
can't do that. Come on.
But, that was interesting to see that.
And so he got it back. Yeah.
Back to Jimmy Fallon. I've never liked Fallon, and I like him less now.
All right.
Fallon's always been the yes to everyone man. I blanking loathe Fallon, and this is a prime example as why.
Well, okay, then that's somebody who wasn't watching before and won't be watching tomorrow. So
why is Fallon giving Fox News a platform? There's no defense for this.
No defense for it.
This dude is part of the tinderbox that is MAGA.
All right.
Fallon having him on means I now hate Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
I've given him every benefit of the doubt throughout the last 2 decades, but the seals it for me.
I've given him the benefit of the doubt for the last 2 decades. Wow.
I normally don't watch something that I just am tolerating for 2 decades.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not tolerate.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll turn it on. Oh, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Others suggested they were not surprised to see Fallon having Gutfeld on his show, recalling a 2016 episode of The Tonight Show when the late night host welcomed then presidential candidate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So
we remember that. And the tussling of the hair, remember that?
Yep. Fallon has normalized the right's worst before.
Uh-huh.
This is nothing new.
All right. Okay. All right. Crybabies.
Remember when Fallon went on a brief, I love this one, redemption tour and talked about how gutted he was about normalizing Trump with that hair ruffle and how he's been brooding about it for years? I guess he's changed his mind. Did that happen? I don't remember that.
I remember he said something. What I recall is him saying something to the effect of, I wasn't ready for how big the backlash was. I didn't hear, I wish I had never said it. And maybe he did say that. I don't follow along on the Fallon train. So, it's, he's trying to do the late night variety show thing in a way that the others aren't. It doesn't come off super political.
No, it doesn't.
The Tonight Show.
No, it doesn't at all.
It comes off as, hey, this is what's going on in the entertainment world.
Right.
This is what's interesting. Oh, why don't we stop and play a game with Tom Cruise? Okay.
Right.
And then next thing you know, they're out on stage playing a game. It's kind of like having a child with, ADHD that's constantly going. But which is why I don't watch it all the time. Plus, we're working when that show's on. But I get it. I understand what they're trying to do, and it can be funny. And I understand that a lot of people find it, or why someone would find it entertaining.
Well, except for the times when I've seen it on YouTube when he has Seinfeld on.
Yeah.
He does, talk so much about modern entertainment that I have to be very blunt, and this is the old man in me.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no interest in it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that when I wake up at 10 o'clock on antenna TV, which is 33.2 on the digital on my bedroom TV, Carson, as soon as I wake up, I'll flick on the TV.
Right.
And then of all these Hollywood people that I had no interest in even back then.
Right.
And still watch.
Yes. See, that's the thing. Can you make it presentable?
Yeah.
And Carson could do that.
Yeah.
Because it was it was like, all right, everybody relax. We're going to have a little fun.
And it's funny because the past couple of weeks with all this, I've actually turned it on when I probably wouldn't, just to study Carson and try to figure out, what was it at that time that was so attractive about drawing you to that show.
Right.
And I will say this, it was a buddy show. there's something to the fact that
he was friends with a lot of those guests.
He and Ed and
Doc.
Doc, and then when Doc wasn't there, I can't think of the other guy's name that was there. Oh, I got mind blank.
Tommy?
Tommy. When Tommy was, I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he's gone. Well, Tommy's there. He's going to really insult and then be wearing something. And these guys were just, back then I actually thought that they were more than just band leaders. I thought they were they were band leaders.
Yeah.
They were musicians and they were hilarious, but there was a camaraderie. It wasn't just Johnny, it was his relationship. It was like a buddy thing, and whoever came on, whether it was a guy or a gal, it didn't matter. They all became part of the whole.
Well, it seemed like he was hanging out with these people, those buddies on the show, but also the guests.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was buddies with. It just felt like you were sitting in somebody's living room, watching them hang out with friends, and that's a very inviting setting. And, it wasn't always over the top roaring. Sometimes it was a little more subdued,
I can't believe sometimes I realized, and I didn't see it back then, but there's a couple times I'm watching, I'm like, oh, man, where Carson bombs.
Yeah.
And the pauses are too long. And I'm thinking to myself, is that because I'm used to getting everything, on YouTube in clips?
Right. Boom.
And
shorts.
That he didn't change. It was great for back then, but I expect, it can't be a second and a half silence. You got to get to the point.
Right.
When I hear that now, I look at it completely different than I did back then.
Right.
There I'm like, come on, fill it in.
Our sensibilities change.
Yeah.
Our minds, look, it's stand-up comedians can't do the old, take my wife, please, thing. Dangerfield to me or anybody, Henny Youngman or any of them, are still funny to me.
Yeah.
But if a new comedian came out and tried to do that, it would be almost impossible to pull off. So our sensibilities do change. Comedy changes and timing changes, and it's, to me, this is the activist viewer. If that's why you're tuning into TV, maybe you need to go do something else. Maybe you're supposed to be at a march. Maybe you should go, Fallon is your leader. Fallon is the one you showed up for? Really? Seriously, what's wrong with
That's a great point. But they're talking about as if he's a political leader.
Right. No, this is the way they see Colbert. This is why Colbert has that smarmy, almost half smile all the time, because he gets off on being that person. He thinks he's the leader of all of these activists. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an audience.
Who does he think he is? A member of The View? He's not that important. 866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today. Our show ends in an hour, and when our show ends, it becomes our podcast. So if you can't catch the entire show, or if you miss part of the show that you want to catch, just check it out when the show's done. Our Red Eye Radio app, our podcast is there.
That's right.
And if for some reason you can't listen to us on one of our great radio stations overnight, we stream all 5 hours live on our Red Eye Radio app. Coming up following the top of the hour, a Democratic whistleblower goes after Adam Schiff. The thing is, when you look at whether it's Adam Schiff on the mortgage thing or Letitia James on all of her mortgage stuff, this stuff isn't this. Should this be a 6-month investigation?
No, it should be. You should have the evidence. Of course, I guess it depends on the depth of the criminal behavior or how extensive the behavior might be. I don't know.
Or if it's just the tip of it.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.